All right, let's jump right in. If you think chatbots were the big AI story, you're going to want to buckle up. We are talking about AI agents, and 2025 is shaping up to be their massive breakout year. And look, this isn't just another small upgrade, this is the next big tech revolution. So let's really break down what that means for you.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll cover why this is all happening right now. Then we'll nail down what an AI agent actually is. After that, we'll get into the practical stuff, the agent playbook, that huge build versus buy question, and finally, how you can measure success and, keep everything safe and secure.
So I want you to just think about this for a second. What if your AI could do more than just talk? Seriously, what if it could actually understand your goals, create a plan, use tools, and get real work done for you, all on its own? Well, that's the world that AI agents are unlocking right now. And the difference here is it's huge. The traditional AI we're used to, it's reactive. You ask it something, it gives you an answer. That's it. It's a one-and-done interaction with zero memory. But an AI agent, that's a whole different ballgame. It's proactive. It thinks ahead, it plans, it handles complex tasks with multiple steps, and, this is the kicker, it uses tools to actually interact with the world. It remembers, it learns, and it does things.
Okay, so why is 2025 the magic number? The big tipping point? Well, this isn't some random guess or a bunch of hype. There are some very real, very powerful forces all converging at the same time, and they're pushing AI agents straight into the spotlight.
And if you need a little proof of just how massive this wave is, just look at that number, 99%. That's pretty much every developer on the planet already exploring how to build with AI agents. The entire tech world is rowing in the same direction, and that creates some serious momentum.
And that momentum, it's being fueled by a perfect storm of four things happening at once. 1, the AI models are getting way smarter. 2, businesses are practically begging for better automation. 3, the early adopters are already showing a massive return on investment. And 4, we're finally getting some regulatory clarity, which makes big companies feel safer to jump in. It's the perfect recipe for an explosion.
Okay, so we've covered the why now. Let's get down to the what. What exactly is an AI agent? It's time to cut through all the buzzwords and get a simple, clear definition.
Here it is. At its core, an agent is a goal-directed system. That's the phrase you got to remember. It's the whole game changer. You're not just giving it a prompt, you're giving it a mission. It uses a language model as its brain, sure, but it's also got a toolkit that lets it act on its own to hit that goal.
You can really break it down into 5 key things it does, kind of like a continuous loop. First, it perceives the world around it through data. Then it plans out what it needs to do. Next, it acts on that plan using its tools. Then it memorizes what happens so it knows what to do next. And finally, and this is so important, it learns from the experience so it gets better next time. It's that whole cycle that makes it so incredibly powerful.
All right, enough theory, let's get practical. It's time to open up the agent playbook. We're going to look at the different kinds of agents out there, what they can actually do today, and, believe it or not, the real steps to building one yourself.
You know, agents aren't just one size fits all. They come in a few different flavors. You've got your conversational ones. Think superpowered customer support. Then you've got process automation agents, the ones working behind the scenes, handling workflows. There are analytical agents that are just amazing at finding insights in data. And what's really exciting are the specialized agents, built for specific industries like finance or healthcare.
And just to be super clear, this is not science fiction. This is happening today. Agents are already out there automating customer service, crunching data, helping developers write better code, taking over tedious HR and finance tasks, and even boosting sales teams. These are real, high-impact jobs they're doing right now.
So you're probably wondering, how on earth do you build one? Well, it might seem complicated, but it's actually a pretty logical process. You start at step 1. Define your purpose. Get super clear on the goal. Then you gather your data, choose your architecture, and design the workflow. After that, it's all about developing and training the agent. And then you test and iterate like crazy before you finally deploy and monitor it in the real world.
And that whole process leads us to probably the single biggest strategic question any company is going to face with this tech. Do you try to build an agent yourself from the ground up, or do you just buy a ready-made solution?
Honestly, the answer here is pretty simple for most people. You should only really think about building if you have a team of AI geniuses and a problem so unique that nothing else on the market can solve it. For basically everyone else, especially if you need to move fast and your problem is pretty standard, buying or partnering is absolutely the smarter move.
Now, whichever way you go, you have to be aware of the common traps.
A ton of agent projects fail, and it's usually for the same reasons. They get way too complicated, the connections to other tools are weak, or they don't have enough good data. But the two absolute killers? A lack of human oversight and bad security. You have to nail those, period.
Which brings us perfectly to our last major section, setting up the guardrails. Once you have an agent out there, how do you make sure it's actually working well, and more importantly, that it's safe and secure?
On the security side, this checklist is just non-negotiable. You need airtight data protection. You need super strict access controls so the agent can only touch what it's supposed to. You need a clear audit trail so you can see why it did what it did. And for anything truly important, human oversight isn't a suggestion, it's a requirement.
And how do you know if it's actually a success? Well, success isn't just a vibe. It's something you measure. You have to track the hard numbers, right? What's the task completion rate? How much time is it saving? Is it reducing errors? Are your users happy with it? And the big one, what's the actual ROI? You've got to prove the financial value.
And keep in mind, you're not operating in a vacuum here. The regulators are moving fast, and they're all focused on the same three things: transparency, accountability, and data privacy. So that means you've got to build for trust and compliance right from the very beginning.
And as amazing as all this is, we are just scratching the surface. Looking ahead, it's going to get wild. We're talking about agents with way better reasoning, multiple agents working together on really complex problems, interacting with them just by talking, and agents that are so smart they anticipate what you need before you even know you need it.
So let's wrap it up. The AI agent revolution, it isn't coming. It's already here. The tech is real, the value is proven, and it's happening now. So the question really isn't if this is going to change things. The only question left is, what's your first move going to be?